is
all
a
the time.
And I see it live on the YouTube channel, so it's gone correct. Well,
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to wherever you are watching us here at the League by Foxxtecca. Welcome into round number 3 at Road America, and we're looking to have an absolutely pumped race here. My name is Tristan Herbst, and joining me in the commentary box is the one and only Sam Fitzpatrick, as well as Chris Harris from Foxxtecca himself. In the background, our producer and camera operator, Jim Cunningham, joining us there in the background. We've got a super exciting race here today. Round 3 of season 1 here for the league in North America, Wisconsin. 14 turns and 4 miles here at the Road America circuit. I am super pumped for this race. How are we feeling for it today, guys? Sam and Chris?
Yeah, it should be absolutely awesome. This is such a good race circuit. I mean, we've been to some really good circuits already this season. I think Spa obviously is super iconic in Europe, but it doesn't really get much better in terms of American circuits than Road America. So much racing opportunity, so many overtaking places, so much fun as well, so much history around this track, and it should be absolutely awesome in these McLaren GT3 cars. So, Chris, I'm looking forward to see what the drivers are going to produce for us tonight.
Woo! I'm so excited. This last 2 weeks have been dope racing. It's really going to be interesting. Like you said, there's a lot of opportunities for people to pass at this track. Such an iconic track, and you know, the stakes are high. We're race number 3, right? So we've kind of seen guys who've been consistently in the middle of the pack and to the front of the pack, and now these points are going to be more than ever. I think this is a good track for a lot of people, and they're going to want this one to count, so they're going to be pushing hard for it. So hopefully we won't see bumper cars like we saw last week. We can get some clean racing, but it should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, second time here in the country of USA, just moving away from Sebring, now down towards Road America, and roughly around about the same temperatures. We're at 27 degrees Celsius here today around track. We were actually a little bit hotter last week at Sebring, so hopefully a little bit better time management around the circuit, but it is still going to play a key factor in today's race with how the tires will manage on these tracks according to how the driver style goes. But just looking at how things are going so far, a couple of a standings overview just coming into round 3. We do have Alexei Nesov running it out in first position at the moment with 193 points. Michael Polasek is in second, followed by Ballas Parla. And that's our top 3. Alessandro Torchio is just down there in fourth, with Andrew Caron rounding out the top 5. And as you can see on your screens, the remainder of the championship standings. We're not going to go through every single one for now. We're just rounding off in the top 5 there. But as you can see, loads and loads of points already on the board. And just coming into round 3, there is a fierce amount of competition up and down this grid. So definitely going to be a good one. But I mean, Chris, we saw it last week with the heat management. How do you think it's going to look this week at Road America?
It was definitely a little cooler, so that's good. It was like Hades down there in Sebring. So I think with the cooler temperatures, um, guys should have a little bit more forgiving. Cars should be a little more forgiving as far as rear grip goes. But again, I think guys are going to be pushing hard this race. Of course, the start of the race has been interesting, so we'll see how that turns out. And if guys are pushing the limit, I hope to see no 4 wide passes anywhere on this track. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely going to be challenge up and down this grid, and it's definitely going to be one to look out for. But just before we head into the final bit of practice that we have left, just a big note and shout out to our sponsors here at the League by Foxxtecca. We've got the official fuel for the event, the Roasted Records, coming in and providing all the fuel for these drivers. And just remember, there is not just American drivers in here. We've got one of the most diverse grids we've seen, with drivers ranging all over the country. So we've even got a couple of European drivers in here who are currently should be sleeping, but instead they're over here driving the McLaren 720S around 1 o'clock in the morning here at the American circuit, as well as the African American Automotive Association, just bringing in the education factor here to the league, which is going to be an incredible one. But I mean, Sam, we're looking at this today. Obviously, you weren't with us last week, but you have been watching around. I mean, you saw the chaos probably from Sebring. Me and Chris experienced it firsthand. We almost had to make some amendments from what we saw last week. But how do you think we're going to be racing compared to what we saw last week?
Oh, well, yeah, really hoping that we get through it all clean. I think I said at the start of the Spa race, both of the Spa races, just hope that everyone keeps it clean, because it does suck a little bit when we have so many very talented drivers have their races sort of jeopardized in the early stages. It just reduces the competitiveness. So I hope everyone gets through it, but it's not going to be easy around here. This is a narrow circuit. Despite it being a very big circuit, it's fairly old school, back when circuits weren't made super duper wide as they generally are now. And so there is still the potential, for instance, that T1 can be fairly scary, and T5 as well at the end of that back straight easy if someone locks up a break for them to potentially play bowling with the drivers ahead. So hopefully we all get through that cleanly, and I think a lot of the drivers will have learned a lot from what happened at Sebring last time out. But Tristan, I think we might have an opportunity at an interview. I'll let you have a chat with Andre Castro.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Mr. Andre Castro just coming in over here. One of the actual racers here in the league by Foxxtecca. Currently sitting 7th in the championship standings. Welcome to the commentary box, Andre. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's good to be on the broadcast. Thank you for doing such a great job with all the sessions this year.
Absolutely. And I mean, welcome into Road America. Yeah, this is round 3. You were there last week at Sebring. We had a super eventful race. We got to chat to a couple of the drivers just based on how that race went. We didn't get to chat to you, so let's get your ops on it. How was last week's double race, race 1 and 2, with loads of events up and down grid? How did you find the experience?
It's really difficult. I mean, I started on the front row for race 2, and immediately got taken 3 wide into turn 1, and just had to try to survive. And yeah, there were some other fast guys that got taken out. It's been interesting to try to compete with these guys that are professional or close to professional, if not professional, sim racers, and in these GT3s they're obviously very experienced in. And yeah, I bought the car like 2 or 3 hours before the first race in Spa, and yeah, it's just been kind of an uphill battle. But it's good to be in the top 8 in the first race, so you can be in the front for the second race when they invert the grid. So that'll be the goal for this race as well. But we'll see. There are definitely a lot of capable guys out front. So yeah, there were definitely some incidents at Sebring. I was lucky to survive, and then so we'll see how Road America goes. I don't know how the aggression will be, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, now at Road America, another American circuit, it doesn't look like the heat is going to be ramping up just as much as last week. But how are you feeling going into the doubleheader again here, first and second race? How is the car primarily feeling here around Road America?
Feeling good. It's feeling really well balanced. It's just these other guys have the same setup in the same car, so they're extremely good. So you always want to measure yourself against the best, and yeah, never. It feels like the best are very, very good in this league, so you just gotta try to be as close as you can to them, and try to, if there's anything that I lack in pace, maybe a couple tenths, then you just try to make it up in racecraft, and hope they might have some incidents, and yeah, just do the best you can. So
yeah, I mean, absolutely. But I mean, you've got both races ahead of you, so you've got loads of space to potentially make up. But just a final question from my side, then I'll hand you over to the other 2 commentators just to ask anything that they feel like. We also got a little bit of information that you're a part-time, real-life, in-person NASCAR driver. And I mean, we just wanted to ask, how does that kind of experience transform into, the world of iRacing? I mean, I know it's not the same car genre or same track layouts, but how does the experience from driving real-life race cars, for some who may not know how the experience works, into iRacing, how does the whole conversion work for you?
well, I don't know. I think when I first started racing cars, I was 16, 17, and I already had a few years on the sim, so it definitely helped me get up to speed. Because I'd done karts too, but yeah, the first car I drove was a Skip Barber, the old car, and definitely racing it on iRacing was good to learn the basics and get a head start in real life. Yeah, as far as the stock car stuff, it's definitely way different than this, like completely different. But I don't know. I guess it's all really throughout my career, I've driven some different cars, and you kind of get used to hopping from one to the other, kind of like I do on iRacing. So I think that adaptability of like jumping from an open wheel to a sports car to a stock car, that I think is something good that iRacing teaches, especially if you kind of choose to race in a bunch of different series, and don't necessarily just specialize in one thing. So yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing for me, was just learning the basics of car racing, learning tracks, and then just being able to jump in from one thing to another. iRacing taught me how to do that. So
Yeah, well, I mean, we can definitely see it's working. I mean, the fact that you bought the car, like you said, 2 to 3 hours before the first race. So, I mean, absolutely incredible. But Chris, Sam, any questions from your side?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
wondering, Anjo, when it comes to sort of this McLaren, because you were saying how you brought it very late before the series. I mean, is there anything that you sort of learned in the car in the first couple of rounds? Because, I mean, in iRacing, you know, it can be quite unintuitive sometimes when it comes to how to drive the car quick with the tire mods. I mean, is there anything that you sort of picked up where you like that you've learned in the first 2 rounds?
I honestly still figuring it out. I mean, I think with the GT3 stuff, I did some more practice, specifically in the Mercedes a little while ago, and helped me kind of realize how to be quick. I think you don't want to slam too hard on the brakes; it just makes the nose plow. So, yeah, I mean, just it's you have to be really precise. I think with this new tire model, it's a bit less unrealistic in that sense of just like how picture perfect you have to be. But I think generally it's still a pretty foreign car for me. So I'm just trying to. I honestly don't know if there's like a little bit of the meta that I'm missing out on, or if there are certain tricks that I'm not using. I'm just kind of trying to feel it out. But no, just every lap, you know, every week I feel like I learn a little better, and I know Road America pretty well, so that helps a little bit, and we'll see how it goes.
Did you have any other
Incredible stuff.
questions, Chris, for Andrew?
Dre, man, just good luck out there today. You've been pretty consistent all season, so it's been awesome to watch. Like I said, just one little technicality kind of snatch you off the podium. So I'm excited to see what you pull out of your hat tonight.
Thank you, Chris. It's great to reconnect with you and to be in the series. So yeah, we'll see what we can do. No promises, but hopefully we're on track for qualifying right now, actually. So hopefully it won't go too bad.
Well, good
All right,
luck in
brother.
qualifying, and we'll see you out on track. I'm not going to hold you for any longer. Good luck, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, thank you all, and thank you all again for the great broadcast.
Absolutely. Incredible stuff there. So that was Andrew Castro. So 14th overall in the first race, 7th overall in the second race, and that brings him to 7th in the championship currently. Incredible stuff there, and like I think you were saying earlier, Chris, good consistency as well from Castro over the past 2 races. So we're really going to have to keep an eye out for him there. To look and see what he can do in this race. It's also not always about what you can do all the way at the top. It's also just about how many points you can score overall each and every round. But we are currently on the outlaps now for qualifying. It is going to be a good one to watch. And just a big note again, the drivers do only have 2 laps to try and get this their lap times in. And management around this track is going to be absolutely crucial.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really important. And yeah, I think it'll be marginal whether they get 2 or 3 laps, because it's only over a 2-minute lap time around here, and they've got 10 minutes. But once the 10 minutes is up, that's it. So I think it might be... they might get 3 flying laps, I think, around here. But of course, with how long the tyres take to get up to temperature, it's almost a double warm-up lap. So you spend the first 4.5 minutes of the session just getting the tyres so that they have some grip, and then it's the second half of the session that you actually go fast. But we'll see what they can do in these first times. I'm sure they'd like to put some good times down, and you can see there with a purple sector for Michael Polasek, he's putting in some good times on this lap so far.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to... Yeah, go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yep, can you go for it.
Okay, perfect. For some of us rookies in racing, so how long does it typically take for the tires to warm up to be like optimal temperature so you can really just go all out? Is it like 1 lap, 3 laps?
So I think especially with the McLaren 720, I believe like what Sam was saying, yeah, with a bit of a hotter track and a bit bigger and a longer track, it usually takes about 1 to 2 laps, but also depends on the traffic management. As you can see currently on our screens, there is loads of traffic around here with the McLarens trying to manage. But yeah, usually it does take around 1 to 2 laps depending on track length. But yeah, it's an important one to note because it really does depend on how many laps the drivers can get out. Yeah, Sam, you were saying?
I think I was pretty much going to say what you were saying, to be fair. Yeah, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. So, yes, yeah, it will take about that amount of time. And of course, these top guys, it might be that the second lap is only like 0.2 faster than the first lap. But for these guys, how good they are, that makes all the difference. So they'll sacrifice that first lap, knowing that they're good enough that they will deliver on that second lap. So, yeah, currently Andrew Karen is at the top of the standings. We'll get those times up for you on the screen in just a second. But it's currently Andrew Karen setting the times in this qualifying session ahead of David Toth and Michael Polasek. And there you can see the first times, but I think these second times will be even better. I think we're going to get into the 2-minute threes on this next time round.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're going to see a little bit of evolution coming into play here. We definitely saw it at Sebring as the drivers actually patrolled around the track in qualifying. Over time, they gained the confidence, they gained the grip in the car. The tires got a little bit warmer, the grip starting to increase, and the times will definitely start to increase here. But we are starting to see the patterns form as some of the familiar drivers are starting to rack up the times here at the top. Like Sam was saying, Karen up to 204.3, just leading off the pack of here in first position. David Toth missed last round at Sebring. He missed a lot of chaos, but he's yet to make redemption here alongside his teammate of Ballas Pala, who's a little bit further down, just not able to set a best lap time for him, but we're going to have to keep an eye out for him. But I mean, Chris, I think a big one. Who do you think is going to be taking championship here in terms of qualifying? We've got loads of guys in contention for pole position here. You know, we've got Andrew Karen, David Toth, Michael Polasek plays a great deed over there as well as Alexi as well. I mean, what are your strong opinions here of who's going to rack up that fastest time?
Well, Karen, Toth, and Polasek have been really consistent about being in the front and in these races, and so I expect them to continue to kind of keep that front of the pack pace. And I don't know, I haven't seen if Nezov is in there yet, but if he's in there, you can never count this guy out because he's just ridiculously quick. So I think those are usually the four that set the pace, and then once the race starts, then it's anybody's show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think that's kind of just how it passes around. But as you can see, like Sam was mentioning, the times are getting faster. Karen sets his second lap time 2:03.67 right now, so currently just under 2/10 ahead of Toth. And the times are just going to improve as we go on. But I mean, I think another thing to mention, we've got even more liveries on grid. We were talking about it last week at Sebring, and we've got a further expansion of more liveries on grid. I saw Toth and Pala are both rocking a new livery. I think it's Hungarian themed based on their country of origin, which is really cool to see the diversity being shown again. As you can see, there's the beautiful livery with the Hungarian flag just down the nose, and I think that's flowers, I believe, on the side. Not too sure. Yeah, so I mean, that's another diversification factor. No stress at all. But yeah, we've got around 2 minutes left of qualifying, and I think the diversification is just going to continue to increase here in terms of lap times here, Sam.
Yeah, and remember, David, of course, is very late at night, and I am going to embarrass David because he told me last time out that the reason why he missed the previous round wasn't because of, you know, he was doing any, you know, charity work or anything like that. He overslept. He woke up in the middle of race one, and that is why he missed the previous round, did David Toth. So he will have some extra motivation to make up the points that he lost last time out, because yeah, he unfortunately missed that previous round. But currently, for Karen to be that far ahead is really impressive, and I don't think he even had a draft either. I mean, you see everyone else is in a line. They don't have to be in a line. They could be in clean air, like Karen is, but they all want the slipstream. But Karen is just doing his own thing. Can he go even faster on this lap? He can. He shaves another 1/10 of a second. He's quarter of a second clear, albeit his teammate Polasek gets pretty close to him there. It's currently a WSR Esports 1-2. Can anyone get near that? Zain Khan, who had an awful qualifying last time out, he moves up to 4th place, albeit that quickly turns into 5th because Toth has got up there, Pala has got up there, but no one is getting close to the Canadian.
Absolutely, he is absolutely flying out on track at the moment. But I think another name you mentioned that we really got to keep an eye out for, as you can see a couple of drivers finishing off their qualifying stints, is Zain Khan. I think for me, for Matthew and I last week, probably the driver of choice in terms of driver of the day. A net of 39 positions gained last week at Sebring between race 1 and 2. And an incredible stint to fight it out through the pack. Now puts himself in the top 10 there. Just in 9th position, but now on board with the likes of Richard Wedstead, who also had a bit of an up and down race last week. Looking to see what he can do here with the last 30 seconds left. You can see a couple of the drivers still with their final couple of laps left. Most drivers are already sitting in that pit lane with no more laps left to go. And this is how it's going to flow. But I mean, Chris, anything from your side before we end off this qualifying session?
I think we need to make a new rule. I think we need to discuss this, that if you fall asleep and miss your race, there should be some severe penalty on the next race. And then, I'm going to call the guys over at Roasted Record to go send Toth some coffee, because that is absolutely ridiculous. It's hilarious, though. So we're going to have a new rule for David. He escaped this one, but not the next time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we've got, like we mentioned earlier, the diversification of countries racing here. We've got some guys who are, popping in after dinner to come and race. We've got some guys having to try and set 6 alarms just to wake up, and sometimes that's not even going to work. But right now, just heading on to our main grid, we're going to rock through the top 12, and then Sam will take you away for the remainder and switching back after that. Andrew Karen rocks out in first position with Alexei Nesov breaking the WSR front pack over there just in second. David Toth in third position. Michael Polisek, the other WSR driver, down in fourth, with Palas Parla in fifth position. Andre Castro, who we spoke to in our practice session, now into sixth position with Alessandro Torcio, also a big name to watch out. Loads of fighting last week. Nicholas Laubish in eighth position with Zane Khan in ninth. Nick DePaula in 10th with Zane Smith in 11th position. And Colin Queen rocks over your top 12.
And then in 13th place, it's Tyler Campbell ahead of his fellow countryman Tyrone Roberts. Then it's Russell Sotto, Zohair Ahmed, Cameron Brown, Richard Wedstead, Miles Brown in 19th place. Then it is Thomas Critchell, Carl Robertson, Jack Linder, Lucas Souza, and Chris Vett in 24th place.
Incredible. And following off 25th, Jesse Laverin in 25th with Tyler King in 26th. Rain Woodside in 27th position and Ismail Arafag in 28th. Kingston Mullings, a new driver who we didn't see last week at Sebring, in 29th position. Alan Ware in 30th. Lance Fenderson in 31st with Mike Mann in 32nd position. Lewis Garland the 4th and 33rd with Lewis Holloway in 34th. And Jonathan Lowers in 35th with Andrew Yoon rocking off the top 36.
And then there's just a few more drivers. Justin Bissett, Anthony Cuthbert, Gregory Hoverson, who got a qualifying ban from the previous round. So, of course, remember, he won race 1 last time out at Sebring, but he had a qualifying ban for some antics he was involved in. So he starts from the back in this one. He's got a lot of places to gain. And then Javier Bulliner is in 40th place. So a huge grid once again, not quite as many as we had last time out. I think it's maybe 2 less than we had last time, but still more than we had in round 1. And yeah, that's a lot. I didn't mention the Hoverson one so far, but yeah, he could not take part in qualifying. So expect to see Hoverson gain a lot of places. Needs to make sure he gets through lap 1 cleanly, but I think if he can, we could well see him get as high as maybe the top 15 by the end of race 1, and then in race 2 maybe could be fighting for a top 5.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye out there for Hooverson. And I mean, we saw the fighting he posed last week in the 42-car grid. So yeah, like you were saying, Sam, just 2 cars short this week. But still, that's practically no difference. We're on a narrower circuit here, which means more fighting. And I mean, Chris, we saw guys fall wide last week at Sebring. And we know Sebring is quite a wide circuit. I don't know what's going to happen if we see the same thing here at Road America.
Well, we see the same thing. We're going to see the same thing we saw at Sebring, which is half the field get battle damage before they even cross the start line. So hopefully, guys, patience. I think that's really what it is. It's a long race. I mean, it's a sprint, but it's still enough time for guys to make moves. So I think if they're just patient, like you guys said before, it's a really narrow track. So it's better to be safe than sorry. Let the kind of line thin out and then go make your moves.
Yeah, I mean, I think last week we had more dislocated bumpers than bumpers that were actually still attached after the first corner. That's how much chaos we saw with a couple of drivers going 4 wide. So we're really hoping and praying, especially without no commentator's curse over here, that we're not going to be seeing any form of too bad action. I mean, obviously action is always great. We do love to see a little bit of elbows out fighting, but we don't want to see too much contact out on track. The pace car is out leading off the pack, just getting those tires warm, and you can see them scrubbing those tires, trying to get them warmed up. Zigzagging and brake dragging is going to be the chemical formula over here, trying to get those cars nice and race prep ready. But I mean, Sam, talk us through what a possible driver could be going through in terms of nerves at this stage. I mean, just to think, 40 cars on grid here, this could get a little bit scary going into turn 1.
Yeah, I think these front runners will be a little bit more confident around each other. They'll sort of anticipate what's going to happen on lap one. But yeah, further down, you are just sort of hoping that yeah, you get through all cleanly. I'm really curious to see how Alexei Nesov does today. Of course, we were looking at the point standings earlier on. I think he's on 193 points, and that's 193 points out of 200. He's dropped 7 points in the first 4 races of the season. Been so good as Nesov, and of course starting in this race in 2nd place, which is lower than he's spent most of the season so far. So will be a really good test to see if he can beat Andrew Karen today and get himself into that strong place. And of course, remember, it's the top 8 reversed for race 2. So Nicholas Laubisch, currently in P8, that's a very good place to finish. Zain Khan in P9, that's not such a good place to finish. So that's going to be really hotly contested between those drivers for that reverse grid pole position.
Yeah, that's definitely going to play interesting dilemmas going into race 2. But I mean, yeah, like you were mentioning about Alexei Nesov, out of 200, that is some incredible consistency. I mean, round 1, first in both the races. Round 2, he was 3rd and 1st in both races. And then obviously round 3, we're going to see what he can do here today around Road America. But I mean, after 2 rounds, almost racking up 200 points solo is absolutely incredible. So we're going to have to watch out to see what he can do. Incredible stuff, though, up and down this grid. And I think what we were talking about last time, Chris, as well, there's just so much skill difference here on this grid, but it really does not make that much of a difference. These drivers love to fight and love to show their skill, no matter the iRating or the actual skill.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. They want to show their stuff, and you know, this is a big stage for a lot of these drivers. They're competing with, you know, NASCAR drivers, IMSA drivers, pro sim drivers. So it's really a chance for everybody to kind of cut their teeth against each other. So there's a lot on the line here, and it's exciting to see.
Yeah, I mean, as you're saying, a lot on the line. We've gone to green flag, and there's already 3 wide going into turn 1. You can see it's bumper-to-bumper action over here as we're waiting for everybody to come through over the crescent over there. You can see it's looking relatively safe compared to what we saw last week, and it looks like everybody's managed well. Andrew Karen has pulled off an incredible launch just behind the pace car over there, already pulling a good amount of gap there. 7/10 already to Ballas Parla, who climbed up 3 positions in turn 1 over there. Andre Castro just following behind him in 3rd with another 3-position launch. David Toff has lost a position. Michael Polisek is down 2 as well. And Alexei Nesov is off 14th position down. We can see him just dropping off. You can see him there in the background, just standing still on the side of the track. What has happened to Nesov there, Sam?
Well, he'd already lost a few places off the start. I think he was down 5 places by the time he even got into turn 2. He had a really bad launch, did Nesov, and then he's got caught up in something a little bit later on in the lap as well. I've also seen Tyrone Roberts drop a lot of places, and Colin Queen as well. So we'll get a replay of what happened there. But yeah, it was a bit of a mixed up start. Karen got an amazing start, but yeah, Pallet up 3, Castro up 3, Laubisch up 3 as well. Cameron Brown up 6. He's up into 11th place, so a lot of changes. And there is Nesov, seemingly with a fairly clean car, and he will have to work very hard to try to get back up into the top 8. That will be his aim from here, get on reverse grid pole. But we said he'd lost 7 points all season. He's going to lose a lot more points than that in this one race alone.
Yeah, he's definitely going to want to try and avoid being where he is now. But I mean, like you said, not too much body damage. This could have possibly been a bit of driver error from him then. Just launching into the first couple of corners, he could have just lost grip there in the McLaren 720S, and someone looks to be off again. We've got Tyrone Roberts dropping off a couple of positions there on the live timings board. We'll try and see what happened to him there. He's dropping extremely quick, though. Oh, and there's another driver off just over the curbs over there. That looks like one of the Golden Eagle drivers that we were mentioning last week. The incredible livery just spinning around there on the curb. But I think we've spoken to a couple of drivers already that the McLaren has not been the easiest car to drive this season. And a couple of drivers have been really struggling to find traction here with this car. And we've seen it already because Zane Smith, 23 positions down. Tyrone Roberts is now last in this race, 26 positions down. And I mean, this has already been quite an eventful race, Sam.
Yeah, it's been very, very eventful. Just looking back at a little bit of the replay, Nesov got a bit forced out at turn 1 by some of his rivals. And then, of course, yeah, got mixed up as well later on. But this is Nicholas Laubisch. He's pretty close. He's almost going a little bit deep. Look at the move as well behind with Zain Khan moving past Alessandro Torchio. Khan was in reverse grid pole, but that's not good enough for him. He wants to move up the order, get some more points in this race 1, and he's up into 7th place. And now Nick De Paula might make it worse for the Italian driver. De Paula is passed up into that coveted P8. So great start for the V GTR esports driver. And Torquay is going to have to look in his mirrors again, because Tyler Campbell in the Walk Racing livery very close behind as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Brazilian really showing his style over here, pulling the Ayrton Senna moves and really showing that McLaren is nosing around this track as much as he can control it. Andre Castro is really doing well. We spoke to him pre-race. He said the car was not feeling the greatest around this track, and he was just trying to still find his grips. But as you can see, the real-life race experience really coming in handy, because he's up to third already, and he's got Toth just behind him. Toth also an incredibly fast driver. Looking back on a replay, though, just what happened. Here's Nesov. 14 positions down. You can see holding on the outside line, just coming down the crescent. And did he get forced wide? Turns in, and oh, just a little bit of a pit maneuver there. That looks to be Torchio that he made contact with. Manages to recover there and get back onto track. That's where we saw the very little bit of contact there, Sam. So managed to recover quite nicely and not spend too much time off track.
Yeah, I think that's... I don't even know whose fault that was, honestly. There may have been a little bit of netcode. I don't think Torquay was being super aggressive, honestly, but at the same time, I don't think it was especially the faults of Nesov either. So that was a really unfortunate one that they got caught up there. But I'm just glad that Nesov was able to continue, but he's not making much progress. You got these long cars, long train of cars, and everyone's got the slipstream on one another. They sort of call it a DRS train in Formula 1. In this series, it's sort of just a slipstream train. And it means that no one's really got a pace advantage on the straights over anyone else, and so he's getting a bit stuck. Further up the order, though, Andre Castro is being under pressure from David Toth. Toth is going to go for a move here for third position. Castro doesn't fight it too hard, but that might open up the door for Nicholas Laubich. No, it was a good exit for Castro, and he keeps P4. That was probably smart from Castro. Doesn't want to fight too hard, otherwise he could have lost even more than one position.
Yeah, I mean, that's also, I think, the consequences of the racing. You've always got to determine the risk versus reward. And, I mean, I think Castro knows Toth is not just a slow driver who's gotten lucky and fought up to the top pack. He does know that Toth has got quite a lot of skill on his back, and he can definitely fight for those positions. But Laubich, Chris, we saw Laubich last week. He has got zero space to let that aggression sit. He knows how to use this car well. He knows how to stick his nose into places. I mean, we're going to have to just keep our eyes here on Laubich, Chris, because we know from last week he got a little bit intense and aggressive with his moves.
Yeah, and if he does that here, he'll pay dearly, because the space just isn't there. It's not a wide track like Sebring was. So it's going to be interesting to see his patience, the mix of patience and aggressiveness on this track.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to have to keep our eyes on him because, I mean, like you say, this really isn't a wide track like we saw in Sebring. There's not a lot of space here for him to potentially do what he did last week, taking as many risks as he possibly could around the outside. And here he really has to try and keep himself under care to not cause too much risk. But on board here, Tyler Campbell, 3 positions up for the Walk Racing esports team. And we also saw him last week fighting in the top 5. And now trying to do the same. Here comes Torchio, though. We spoke about his aggression as well, and his knowledge to be elbow to elbow. Dives up on the inside line, and a beautiful maneuver there on De Paula. And I believe it's going to be back and forth for these two, Sam.
Yeah, it does seem to be a little bit like that right now, doesn't it? Because they've sort of dropped the draft from each other, from the car ahead. And yeah, once you've got a driver out in lead without a draft, they are a bit vulnerable around this circuit because of the long straight. So yeah, that's good work there from those guys as we go back to Nesov, and he's up to 13th place now, so he's recently overtaken Wedsted. Further up, Cameron Brown is under huge pressure from Sotso. They're alongside heading into T5, and I think Sotso able to get past, but Brown was off the circuit, so Sotso up to 11th. I think he's holding on to that 11th position right now. Got some good battles further down the field as well. Tyler King versus Lance Fenderson down there. They've got a big pack of cars. Souza and Ware, Laverin and Smith, all part of that very large battle for 24th place at the moment. And then we've also got this one as well, this trio, Cuthbert ahead of Bessette and Bulliner. And a little bit of an unusual line there for Cuthbert, and he lost out there to Bessette.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's just trying to find the alternative lines and strategies here. And I mean, it's always good to see the fighting up and down the field. I mean, you see it, and I mean, yeah, we just hearing from our camera operator there. I think Cuthbert actually lost the rear end there, which is why we saw him taking such an alternative line just around the outside there. More positions down there. Looks like someone's moving down the order there in 34th. That's the fight with Woodside and Mann. And Garland, the 4th, is just into the fight now there, the battle for 33rd. He's pacing on, but just a little bit further up. Back to the fight here. The two drivers are going to be passing around continuously. De Paula is just stuck behind Torchio at the moment, and Campbell is behind, and he's hungry for a couple of positions. Like Sam mentioned earlier on, the top 8 is crucial. It's not top 10 in this like we usually speak about in sports like F1, where your top 10 has a point scoring opportunity. Right now, you really want to try and push for top 8 to get that reverse grid split, because it means race 2, you could potentially be starting in first position. And if you manage to hold that well, you could end up with yourself in a podium position. But now Andrew Castro, 2 positions up, holding 4th position from Laubish.
And now there's a little bit of a draft from the car ahead. And Laubish is moving ahead. He's got the draft, so Toth can basically choose who he gives the draft to right now. And interestingly, he's giving it to Laubish. And Castro will hold the inside line. I think Castro's probably got the upper hand here. He gives a little bit of a door nudge there, and then squeezes a bit more. That was barely the width of a McLaren, but maybe it just was. What did you think, Chris?
You gotta fight for what you want, right? I mean, this is what it is. You pick and choose your battles, but that was cool to see.
Yeah, no, I think Toth. I think Castro knows Laubish is an aggressive driver. He's seen him from last week and the week before, that this driver is not just going to sit behind that red McLaren and hope for the best. He's really going to stick his nose around and try and find a way into the top 4 of a year. But Castro, also extremely talented, is not going to just give it away for free, and he's going to try and get closer and closer to Toth to try and benefit from that slipstream. Like Sam mentioned, there is no form of DRS or curse system in these cars and these configurations. The only way to get a speed advantage is by sitting in the slipstream of a car head and braking that airflow, and just getting a little bit of an air gap. It's almost like a bit of a boost just sitting behind, but then again, you do get a little bit of dirty air that negatively affects the performance of the car. But in this kind of racing, it's not too bad as we see in open wheeler sports such as F1. But I mean, my goodness, Sam, you can see it on the back wing of Castro. The fighting is so tight between these two.
Yeah, I feel like this is only a matter of time, honestly, till Laubish makes this move. We've got 14 minutes to go. But Castro's really fighting this hard. Remember, Castro barely fought against Toth. Whoa, that's barely enough, and he nearly runs into the back of it as well. I think there was a little bit of contact between the pair of them. Castro is barely hanging on to this one, and Laubish, I think, is probably getting a little bit concerned here, because he's got Polasek so close behind him. He knows if he doesn't pull this move off now, Polasek will move past Laubish, and then he'll have a crack at Castro. But again, he's got another chance. The chance to just keep on coming here at Road America. He actually dips out of the draft. I wonder if he's going to go for a little bit of a surprise move. He just finds enough of a gap. Castro was never going to leave him much more than a car's width. He did leave a car's width there, and Laubish gets past, and now he's going to come all the way to the inside. And now look at the attack from Polasek underneath. A little bit of contact between the pair of them. This is a very awkward corner to go alongside in, and Polasek does the right thing and backs out of it.
I mean, yeah, Chris, what did you think of that, man?
I mean, it's a fight. I mean, it's amazing how when you're defending, then right away you're trying to come back and get somebody that passed you, and then somebody's right behind you trying to take your space. These bunches, it's like WrestleMania. Like, it's like you're fighting 4 or 5 people at one time. So I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were talking about Laubish there. And there he goes and pulls a move that nobody even expected. I mean, Castro was not expecting that switchback. And now you can see Laubish really starting to pull, because now Polasek, who is about to make another position, and Castro could potentially losing out 2 positions here just from not being careful with that previous fight, because Polasek is all over the back of that white and red McLaren, number 4 of Castro, and just trying to find a way around him now. But again, we know Castro is not going to just hand it to him for free. And Polasek now actually under pressure from Zain Khan, a little bit further behind, and this train is just going to expand, because behind him is Torchio and Campbell, both also fast drivers. De Paula's in there as well, and this is eventually going to become the train for 4th position as they fight along. Karen now is really on pressure, because guess what? Paula is just behind him. Paula really climbed up 3 positions from race start, and now on the back of that Abruzzi McLaren of Karen, just trying to find his way around him. And I mean, I think this might be a close one, Sam. We know Karen and Paula and Toth, all 3 are podium contenders over here.
Yeah, they are real contenders. And of course, if Paula can fight with Karen, then that's just going to back them up into Toth. And of course, Toth is Paula's teammate, so he will not mind to maybe make some half moves, get the leader offline, and then it will turn into a 2v1 fight rather than a 1v1 as it is at the moment. So he will not mind that one bit. I'm just looking a little bit further back. Andre Castro is pretty much alongside Michael Polasek, and I think Polasek has been able to get past, but Castro is trying to come back. You'll just see them at the top of the screen, and they are alongside. So Polasek did try to keep it around the outside on this time around. He backed out of it on the previous lap. This time he went for it, and I think it's going to pay dividends because he's alongside again. Castro will have the inside for the carousel, but that's not necessarily where you want to be. The outside is sometimes the line with the more grip around this very, very long right-hander. There's contact between the two of them, and Polasek loses out. He overheats the tyres. He can't get the rear planted again, and he drops 3 places there. Khan, Torque, and DePaula all get past him.
Jeez.
I mean, what a save there from Polasek. That could have been a potential end of race 1 there for Polasek if he could not catch that McLaren. And I mean, like Sam says, just overcooking the tires down the outside line. There's a little bit of rubber debris off of the actual racing line here, and Polasek just vacuuming all of that up in that McLaren and just losing the grip and not grabbing that momentum. And I think, like you mentioned, Sam, a little bit of front to bumper contact there for Polasek, just trying to hold the outside line, but he's lost out majorly now. Lost 2 positions there to both Torchio and DePaula, and he's really going to have to try catch up because now Khan is making his move on Castro. I wonder who can fight this guy. I mean, Castro is driving like an Alonso right now. He's defending like an absolute champion over here.
Castro's in there fighting for his life, and he's doing a great job just holding on. What is he in 5th place? I mean, that's the great spot to be. He's still within striking distance. So,
oh. And yeah, there's Zane Khan now pushing and shoving at Castro. I mean, I didn't even think about that. I mean, we were just casually relaxed over here, not thinking that the position was going to come now. And here's the train, because Torchio has seen this, and he's like, all right, I'll join in on this fight. And on the outside line now of Castro holding off the inside, though, to not lose out. But guess what? Here comes the slingshot as Torchio holds off on the outside line. He's still within the track limit. And a little bit of pushing there. Torchio's off track. Izzy managed to hold on. He did manage to hold on there on the outside. But that was almost another end of race there for another driver. Torchio almost meeting the starting pillar there of that bridge, Sam. My goodness, that was close.
Oh, this is, I mean, how Castro is still going right now in a straight line is quite incredible because he's fighting these guys so hard and they are gradually dripping their way past, but he's still up in P6. This defending is still working for him, but it's backing up everyone so much. Cameron Brown in 13th place is in this train now. And if they keep fighting like this, it's going to get even bigger. I mean, Weston and Ahmed will be on this by the end of the race. So Castro loses 1 more place. Great move from Zane Khan. And right now, Castro just needs to try to get into the slipstream of Khan. If he can get into the slipstream, that will help him defend against these drivers. But at the moment, these guys are racing super, super rough, but looks all fair from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more just the elbow-to-elbow kind of thing of you. And Chris, you want to say something there?
No, saying if there's going to be contact in the race, this is kind of the contact you want to see, right? A little bit of pushing and shoving, but nothing too crazy. So, what do they say? If it ain't rubbing, it ain't racing. So, this is fun to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you don't go for a position, then you're technically on a race driver anymore, as Senna used to say. And now here comes the position. Nesov is under pressure from Soto. And contact. And Nesov just losing the grip there. Manages to recover once again. Showing that skill there, and what a save from Nesov. But geez, like that was almost another close one. Soto really showing the confidence there, climbs up on the inside. Brown also gets past Nesov there up into 12th, and now Nesov, all those positions he gained, he's lost once again. He was in 11th, now down to 13th, and yes, Castro still holding on. Sam, I cannot believe that Torchio has not gotten past him yet.
Yeah, great save from Nesov. I thought he was actually going to get into 8th place. He was really moving through the field nicely. He was right in that pack. And now I think it's going to be a little bit too far for him to get reverse grip pole. But yeah, that was a great save at T1. Really surprised that iRacing let him get away with that. Often the rear end just goes once you start a slide. But he's lucky to still be in P13. Castro's got the draft from Khan. So if he can stay where he is, 3/10 behind Khan, he should be fine. That should just drag him down the straight. And I don't know, maybe it's even a tactic from Khan. I'm not entirely sure, but I think Castro's maybe just got his rhythm back and is feeling a little bit more confident. If we could just see a little bit further down the order, great battle right now for Kingston
Oh,
Mullings.
yeah.
He's just got past Zane Smith and Lucas Souza. That's the battle for 23rd place. Yeah, the battle's going on all over the field.
Yeah, I mean,
he's in
Mullings
that
was actually...
Foxxtecca car.
Yeah, 100%. Mullings was actually fighting T King just in front there in 21st. I was watching the timing board there, Sam. He actually dropped off 3 positions further behind Zane Smith, and then managed to recover them in pretty swift recovery over there. So thankfully still fighting out on track there. But now Zane Smith is under pressure because Souza, the Brazilian driver, is just behind, trying to fight and find a little bit of more space. And you can see over there, everybody once again bumper to bumper. And like I was saying, Chris, it is great to see so many fights up and down this pack. It really does show that racing happens not just in the podium positions, but also further down. You can see Ware and Bessert also fighting. Yeah, I mean, this is just incredible racing overall.
100%. Everybody has something to prove, something to lose. So, you know, whether in your back of the pack trying to move forward or you're in the front trying to get on the podium, like, you got to give it your all. So it's a lot of talented drivers in this field too. It's impressive for 40-something cars. It's been pretty clean and a lot of movement.
Yeah, absolutely. So much movement up and down grid. Guys, there's been so much action and stuff here. We haven't even realized there's only 6 minutes left of racing here for race 1. We've been here for almost 20 minutes already up and down this grid. And as you can see, the drivers are not stopping here. Zane Khan, look at how close on that bumper Castro is, trying to find those positions back that he's just lost and climbing his way back into the top 4. He's really hungry for it. Laubish has pulled away a little bit now, 4.8 seconds to Khan. And a little bit further down the grid, again, Souza and Mullings fighting each other hard. Mullings back in front, and Souza now trying to recover. You can see Souza getting a little bit closer there on the timings board. Just at the bottom there, but still fighting hard. Khan is holding on to this train here for 5th. I really wonder what's going to happen here to him in these final 5 minutes, Sam.
Yeah, he looked so quick before, did Zane Khan. He was really moving his way through nicely, and now he's finding a lot of pressure from Andre Castro behind. So just doesn't maybe seem to have quite as much pace to pull away from the cars behind like Laubish was able to. So as long as he stays in that place, he'll be happy. Nesov still hunting down Cameron Brown now, who he lost a position to a couple of laps ago with that contact. So he is in P13 and just trying to recover whatever points. Pretty much he will come out of this round's championship leader, or come out of this race at least championship leader, Alexei Nesov. But every position he can gain, he'll get some more points and an extra grid position, and he's got a nice draft in. Look at the car ahead. Sotto giving Nesov a draft, but then he decides, no, I'm going to give Brown the draft instead. I think it's a little bit too late anyway. Nesov powers his way past up into P12.
Oh.
Yeah, we saw him. That was a bit close there, Chris. I was thinking the same thing as you. He cut back into that traffic very close. I think the front bumper of Brown was shivering a little bit there. He didn't want to land up like they did at Sebring. And thankfully, all is fine. Both drivers still perfectly fine. Nesov now trying to fight back just a little bit in front. Soto, the driver who made the position up on the inside of him, is just in front now. You can see how he's pulling away already from Brown there in the pink, blue, and white McLaren. Just trying to find grips here in the final 3.5 minutes of racing here. 11 laps done here at Road America. But don't forget, anybody watching this live, this is just race 1, and we have a whole nother race, a little bit of a time extension and a top 8 grid reverse waiting for you after this race. It's going to be an even more interesting race, I think, than this, and this has already been so interesting, Sam.
Yeah, it's been so good, and we'll be interested to see if those... I mean, imagine Castro. I mean, Castro right now would be starting P3, and imagine Andre's defensive skills from P3. I mean, he's going to be tricky to overtake. So, yeah, he will be really entertaining to watch in that next race. Still got Tyler King battling Carl Robertson, 48 versus 15, and King is actually up 7 places. Started this race in 26, so he's done really well to gain these places so far. But and he made that move, I think, on the previous lap as well, did Tyler King. So recently moved up into P19. Nesso, of course, got past Brown on the previous lap. He was very quick coming out of the last corner. I wonder if he's going to pull off the same move here, because he is as close to Soto as he possibly can be.
Yeah, that diffuser is starting to experience the wrath there of Nessov's front bumper once more. And hopefully we don't see the same thing repeating itself that we saw 2 laps ago. Hopefully Nessov either able to get past cleanly or remain behind Soto. Either way, hoping for no contact. But once again, on the back straight over here, you can see the draft. He's getting the pull. And I don't think Soto's close enough to Campbell to get any form of pull away from Nessov. And you can see Nesov creeping slowly but surely up. I don't think it's going to be enough to make a dive down the inside unless he wants to take it risky, but does not. As you can see, just holding off on the main racing line over there, just behind him. And I think he definitely will make this position coming into this next lap. Not too sure what you think, Chris, but I think Nesov is going to stick his nose in somewhere.
Yeah, he's definitely going to give it a go. And I'm kind of thinking about the strategy of some of these guys, not that we're getting towards the end of the race, with the top 8 being reverse grid. Like some of those guys like Castro and Torchio are just going to, and Polasek are just going to kind of hold. Oh!
No.
Oh, that's massive contact.
Yeah.
And I believe... yeah, go for it, Sam.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he misjudged that one, Nesov. Soto's still running, actually. But he must have a lot of damage. That was, I mean, you could see what Nestor was going for there. He was trying to go for the dummy, gestured to the outside, and then quickly, in the braking zone, moved to the inside. But he was too close to do that, and he misjudged where Soto was going to brake. And that's bad news for Soto, first off, but that's also probably going to be a penalty for Alexei Nesov as long as Soto does that. I mean, it looks really bad, but like it's just because Soto broke maybe 5 meters too early. If Soto broke 5 meters later, Nesov would have done an amazing inside move there and we would have been applauding him. But he misjudged that one, and that's going to be a penalty for our championship leader, Eric.
That is wall for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for Soto. He ate that wall incredibly hard, and not even from a fault of his own there. So I think that's racing. I mean, like you speak about, Chris, it happens to anybody in the racing scene. I mean, just one little bit of misjudgment, and you can ruin somebody else's race. And we've just seen it now, unfortunately, as Nesov is not going to get the easy stick out of that battle over there. Sam mentioning he could potentially face penalization there. From that move. But I mean, we could have potentially seen a Laubish on Castro that we saw a little bit earlier on. An amazing switchback, but just not seeing it now. You can see there Soto, massive front end damage, is now struggling down the back straight because here comes Wets just a little bit further behind him, just making an easy overtake around the outside. And I think he's lost a lot of straight line speed, but this should be white flag being waved. And that is white flag being waved over there because we have just exceeded our race time with 13 laps being raced over here. And this is now going to be final lap for most of these drivers. Karen still holding on in first position.
Yeah, half a second clear of Pala. We haven't really seen a proper attack from Pala, have we? I mean, I sort of thought it was going to come, but it's never quite come to fruition. He got really close, but ever since then, he's sort of been half a second back or so. So kind of looks like he's going to hold on to this one. Nesov has got a black flag. Now, I think that's because he's reached 20 incidents. Now, he can't serve that on the last lap, so that could be a 40-second post-race penalty. Basically, in iRacing, if you make contact with someone, you get 4 incidents. If you go off the circuit, you get 1 incident. And if you get 20 of them, you get a drive-through penalty. And I think that's what Nesov has got. You can see the black flag next to his name on the timing tower. So, what an awful round for Alexei Nesov. He's going to get that penalty. He's going to start far down the order for race 2, and his championship lead, I said he might, he will hold on to at least till the end of this race. Maybe he won't, because this is absolutely a disaster for him. This is the last lap of the race, though, and Andrew Karen is about to take the checkered flag.
Yeah, Andrew Karen will come across.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's racing, I guess. I mean, things happen, but like we mentioned about racing happening, Karen and Pala both taking first and second. Toth just a little bit further behind, crossing over third. Laubish takes fourth, and Khan will take fifth position. Castro, after an amazing defensive round over here, will take sixth, followed by Torcho in seventh and Polisek in eighth. But still fighting up and down here. Wedstead, Brown, and Ahmad all in a bit of a train here, coming over the crossing line. But Brown will take that battle into the Charms over there, and you can still see further down Souza is fighting on behind Smith, who could potentially be diving up on the inside here. We could potentially, I don't think he's got the slip for it, because the checkered flag is just there in front. You can see the guy on top, the checkered flag waiver just above there on the race timing bridge, just waving the drivers off, and the drivers have finished off now. We've still got a couple of drivers at the back. Ware still crossing over the line. But what an eventful first race that was. 14 laps around Road America here. And the next race is going to be a top 8 flip. So that's great news for Polisek and Torchio starting first, second, and Castro, like you mentioned, Sam, will start third. With that defense, this could get very, very cool.
I mean, is that
Really
a
good.
strategy, right? Do you just wait if you realize like towards the end of the race that you're on that sixth, seventh, eighth position, do you just hold knowing that you could be in pole position the second race? That might be a good strategy, right?
It could well be, because the way that the point system works, I think it's 50 points for the win, then 46, then 43. So the difference between first and second, for example, is bigger than seventh and eighth. So if you're confident that from eighth position, that or from the pole position, you're gonna win the race, yeah, maybe you'll gain a few points. So that's certainly a tactic. Polisek did drop 4 places as well, so I don't know if maybe that's part of it as well, that he was deliberately dropping those places. But yeah, it certainly affects the way that you drive. And Polisek, of course, one of our front runners in the championship, has had 2 really good rounds, and with the absolute mare for Nesov in that one, he's gonna be thinking he could come out of this championship leader, perhaps. It's all to play for. That round has, or that race has really brought this championship much closer, and here's the final results.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Andrew Karen takes first position with Ballas Pella in second, and David Toth in third. Nicholas Laubish in fourth, and Zane Khan in fifth, with Andre Castro in sixth. Alessandro Torchio takes seventh, and Michael Polisek eighth, who will start pole next race. Nick DePaula just outside, will miss out. He's in that very unlucky position there. Tyler Campbell in 10th. Cameron Brown 11th, with Richard Wetstead in 12th, and Zohair Ahmad comes across in 13th, with Colin Queen in 14th. Miles Brown in 15th, with Russell Soto and Chris Wett 16th and 17th. And Tyler King wraps up the top 18 over there. Back to you, Sam.
Yes, and they can see 21st place for Zane Smith, ahead of Lucas Souza. Kingston Mullings in 23rd. Then it's Jesse Laverin, Ismail Arafag, Justin Bissett, Alan Ware, Alexei Nesov. That was the 40-second penalty I was talking about. So that demoted Nesov to 28th, even though I think he crossed the line in 10th. Then it's Fenderson, Cuthbert, Woodside, Holloway, Laura's, Garland, the 4th. Then it's Yun, Roberts, Mann, Critchell. And we just had a couple more drivers. Belinda and Hobinson, unfortunately, did not make the checkered flag.
Yeah, I actually didn't even realize that. We actually had 3 DNFs that race. For 3 of those drivers just at the end there who did not manage to cross the checkered flag in time. And a couple of them, I mean, you saw 6 and 12 laps behind, which means they had respective incidents a little bit early on in the race that we might have just missed. And super unfortunate there, I believe, for Critchell and a couple of other drivers there, just not making the checkered flag over there. But I mean, Chris, what is your opinion of that race, and what are we expecting now for race 2?
Loved it. I think the more narrow track made guys be a little more strategic and a little more cautious. There's a lot of people looking for clean air to kind of pull them around so they can make their move. So I expect more in the second race, especially now that that front grid kind of flipped the top 8. So it's going to be interesting to see if the guys that are in the 8th, 7th, 6th spot have what it takes to kind of pull themselves back up front. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sam, anything from your side pulling from race 1 there?
Yeah, I'm really curious to see if our front runners, because I feel like it's based on what we've seen this season. Someone like Polisek starting from pole position, you're like, yeah, he's going to win this race, but obviously his pace wasn't necessarily that strong in race 1, so I'm not entirely sure if he's going to hold on to it. Also interesting to see how aggressive the drivers are. We managed to get through lap 1 quite safely in race 1. Will we get through it in race 2? It was very close, and a couple of the drivers actually did a very good job at not making contact. We almost had 4 wide a couple of times, but drivers were backing out, but they were doing a good job in that one.
Yeah, absolutely. But just before we head into the second race, once again, a huge shout out to the official fuel of the league by Foxxtecca, with the likes of African American Automotive Association, who will be taking us from the educational factor, and as well as Roasted Records, who is, like I mentioned, the official fuel of the league here by Foxxtecca, keeping these drivers awake both at night, and also some of them who have just had a bit of a long day, possibly at work or whatever they do, and now coming back to race. But just before we head on the grid, just remember, if you are enjoying yourself here at Apex Racing TV with the league by Foxxtecca, don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you turn those notifications on, because we still got loads of rounds coming on for you guys. But just to call us out through the rest of the grid, we'll go through the top 12 over here, but then we'll go past the rest as it's the exact same as the starting pack. But Michael Polisek, like we mentioned, will start first with Alessandro Torchio in second position, with Andre Castro, the defending champion from last race, in third, with Zane Khan in fourth, and Nicholas Laubish will come fifth, with David Toth in 6th and Ballas Parler in 7th, with Andrew Caron, our race leader, our race winner last race, will now be in 8th, with Nick DePaula, like we mentioned, just missing out on that top 8 flip in 9th, and Tyler Campbell in 10th, Cameron Brown in 11th, and Richard Wetstead in 12th. But we'll let the drivers continue to form out on the grid. You can see the rest of the grid will display for you guys, but it's the exact same as the previous race, with all the drivers remaining in the same positions as they finished in race 1. So unfortunately for those drivers who did not finish in race 1, will now be starting at the back of the pack, and that could really be a crucial way to stay at the back there, Sam.
Yeah, it will be pretty tough for them to make it through. Lewis Holloway, by the way, wasn't able to take to the grid, which means that it's very good for a few drivers who start on the even side of the grid. I'm thinking Tyrone Roberts will gain a place, Thomas Critchell as well, because there's like a hole in the grid, so everyone on that side of the grid will move up a couple of places, so a small bonus for them. Hopefully Lewis will still take the start, but yeah, unfortunately, if he does take the start, it will be from the pit lane.
Yeah, and that's usually not...
Unfortunately, he's got his significant others got tickets to the San Diego Padres game, so he's going to the baseball stadium.
Oh wow, sure.
So he can't make the second race, but family first, I get it. So a couple of people benefit from it, and again, big shout out to Roasted Record. You guys, they have a coffee program, and they're big on sustainability about coffee and the farming in Colombia and some other places, and it's a dope shop in Stuart, Florida. They have record players, they have vinyl records where you can play music. It's a lounge, and then they have a coffee subscription club. So everybody, please check them out. The Roasted Record, it's really, really dope. And Mike Mann is the owner. He's in here racing for his life as well. So big shout out to them.
Yeah, I mean, talk about sports hopping. I mean, Chris, come on. From sim racing to baseball, incredible stuff there. I mean, at least we're seeing some dedication for the first round. But I mean, like you say, it is always great to spend some time with the family. He's gotten a good race in, and now he gets to go and enjoy some time. But I mean, I think before we head on the grid, just a big one for people watching, Chris. I think speak to us a little bit about the African American Automotive Association. I know you spoke to us last week about it, but I think it needs a little bit more attention once again, this week, as I believe you're also the founder of it, eh?
Yeah, I founded the African American Automotive Association in 2020 during the pandemic. I was watching Adam Carolla's documentary about Willie T. Ribbs, and I learned about the Black Racers Association of the 70s. Essentially, what they did was just help communities and people who just didn't have opportunities or awareness of opportunities in motorsports. They got them together and they created an organization where it was like fellowship. And so I didn't see anything that continued to carry the baton of the work that they do. So I created the African American Automotive Association, and we have an education curriculum that's in schools and organizations that teaches kids about the sport. And then we have also throughout the years helped people that are in the motorsports industry get events. Also, people get jobs and internships with NASCAR and HRA. And so it's pretty cool. And Foxxtecca is the parent company of the association, and we're just excited to be able to help grow this sport and build awareness in communities that don't know about what the opportunities are here outside of the driver's seat. And this esports component is part of this. People from all walks of life, all areas. You have pros here racing next to guys who are, teenagers at home living with their parents. And that's what it's all about. And they're all competing and they're all having a good time.
Absolutely incredible stuff. It's always good to have that amount of support backing with such a good cause as well. But I mean, we are closing off over here to the formation lap. Sam is going to be with you to take these cars once again through turn 1. Let's hope we can keep it a little bit cleaner compared to race 1.
Yeah, about to find out what is going to happen then. So it's Polasek on the pole position. He holds it. He's got control of the field. Now he puts his foot down. And Michael Polasek takes us to the green flag in this race to Tokyo. Not with a great launch. Andre Castro is going to have a really good opportunity here. And you can see Polasek trying to give Tokyo the draft on the inside. Now he switches back so to give his other driver a little bit of a chance. They're side by side through T1. And Tokyo just forced out. So Castro with the perfect start. He's up into second position. Not too many changes behind that. Albeit Andrew Caron going a little bit alongside. But everyone's battling apart from Polasek, who's out in the lead, and that's exactly what he wanted.
Absolutely. I mean, amazing jump then from Foxxtecca. He got the pool, like you're mentioning there, Sam. He had full control of the field and managed to just jump from Torchio. Torchio is down 2 positions, actually, and guess what? The defending champ from race 1 is up to 2nd position. So good luck to Zane Khan getting past that red and white McLaren. It's going to be a difficult one. Further down, though, Torchio is fighting back up against that, I believe, David Toth, and Nicholas Laubisch gets a double position on David Toth now, managing to fight around the side there, and it looks like Andrew Karen. Oh, Andrew Karen's off. Andrew was just on the outside line there. He looks like he's been booted down. I believe that might have been contact there with Nick DePaula, and he's far off the grid now. Thankfully managed to recover it just like Nesov did last race, and Nesov, as we speak of him, into 23rd, climbing back up. But unfortunately there from Karen, we'll probably get a replay coming up shortly just to see what happened. But I think he was just forced wide there, Sam.
Yeah, it happens so often on that corner. It's not a corner you can really go alongside at. It's T7. And yeah, that is the position that he found himself in. So he's got some extra overtaking to do. First up, Colin Queen. He's going to have to go to the outside here into Canada corner. How much space will Queen leave him on the outside? Not a whole lot on the entry, honestly. And now he's had a big slide. That was with the cold tires, a little bit of the dirt as well. And it opened up the opportunity for Karen. And now Wedstead will try to take advantage.
I love this aerial view. I could follow this all day.
Yeah, absolutely. The aerial view gives us great coverage. And again, massive shout out to the camera operator and producer there in the background. Jim Cunningham has been providing some absolutely amazing shots over here. But here comes the replay of Karen just getting forced wide. We can see holding the inside line. I believe that's against Pala. Just in front there is Toth. And as you can see, like Sam mentioned, not a corner you can overtake. Gets a little bit of a tap there into the dirt. And that's exactly why I was able to recover it so nicely. There wasn't actually much tire slide or slip angle there. Just a little bit of being pushed out wide. Managed to recover that McLaren and slots in just behind Cameron Brown there. Now fighting on back, trying to recover that Colin Queen from the Roasted Records team in 12th. And he's got Karen just a little bit ahead of him. Polisek has actually lost that gap that he generated, Sam, because Castro is now 3/10 behind him.
Yeah, Castro's really close up quick. So Castro, yeah, this is awesome pace now. He looked really struggling in the first part of race 1, but maybe he was just getting to grips with the car. We were chatting to him earlier on, and he wasn't too confident. But since the middle part of race 1, since he dropped down to 6th place in race 1, he's looked so much better, has Andre. And now he's really got a shot at winning this race. Laubisch in 5th place managed to hold off David Toth. And of course, yeah, just a reminder as well that Castro has only recently started driving this car. He only bought it for this series, so he is just getting better every single round. But yeah, behind 5th place Laubisch, holding on against Toth, and that's sort of backing them up a little bit behind Torchio. So there's about the gap now between 3rd and 4th. Palace Pala still back where he started. By the way, shout out to Hoverson, up 15 places. Critchell up 10 places. Bulliner up 9. Benson up 5. Yeah, some big gainers further down the order.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when you get big gainers, you also get some big people who unfortunately lose out. Ismail Arafat down 14 positions in 39th with Justin Bissett 12 positions. But, I mean, incredible stuff. Thomas Critchell actually unable to finish last race. Now up 10 positions in 28th position. So incredible stuff from there. Really showing that he can climb back up. And let's hope he can continue to keep that streak up. But, I mean, Gregory Hooverson 16 positions up. Nesov is 8 positions up as well. And I believe that's contact at the back. Oh, he got, I think he got T-boned actually as well at the back there. Just getting bounced around. That looks like one of the orange McLarens, unfortunately. We'll possibly try and get a replay of that, not to show who that was in the background, but he got rebounded twice coming into the final corner. And I believe that's Xavier Bulliner. Going back to the replay now, there he is, the orange McLaren. Looked like he lost the rear there, possibly, Sam, but I saw in the background he got T-boned just coming on. And there you go. You can see him just blocking the track. Now, all the way covering. And just a massive front-end contact there from one of those blue McLarens. Not to show that was either, but massive contact there for Bulliner.
Oh, he did the right thing as well. I thought he was going to pull forwards and go on the apex, and then someone's going to hit, but actually he did the exact same thing he should do, hold it. But the car behind maybe wasn't super heads up, or maybe thought that he was going to move, and unfortunately T-boned him, as you said. So big shame there. Karen back up to P9 now, meanwhile, so good work from him. Got a big pack of cars behind him, but then another big pack of cars behind Richard Wedstead, currently in P13. He's dropped back a little bit off the back of this 4-car train, so Wedstead ahead of Ahmed. Soto in the wars, who had a good battle with a couple of good battles with Nesov in round 1, so he's up 1 place from his race start. And then behind them, Brown, Smith, King, and then talking of Nesov in 19th place, up 9 places from his race start, just at the back of that 4-car chain. You can see just behind this trio of cars is Ahmed under big pressure from Soto. Soto not close enough to overtake at Canada though.
Shout out to Soto and the Days team over at Super Lap. That's a beautiful looking car there.
Yeah, they got the Golden Eagle livery, and I think we were speaking about it last time, Chris, how much we actually like this livery, and it really does add to their persona when they really send this car flying around track. It really shows some pure pace when you see that Eagle flying on the side of that McLaren. But Sam, you were mentioning Lewis Holloway didn't start on the grid. It doesn't look like he started at all. He doesn't have any telemetry showing up. And I believe he might actually just be retired from this race, unfortunately.
Well, he's at the baseball
I forgot. He's at the baseball. Completely forgot about that. He's definitely not sitting behind a rig right now. But currently, fastest lap is Zane Khan, 2 minutes and 3.4. He's catching up to Castro. This could potentially be trouble. The battle for first is under contention here on lap 4. We're going to have to keep our eye on here because guess what? Polisek has not had an easy start. Polisek pulls along to the side, possibly just trying to break a little bit of that dirty air, but not able to get around. Toth and Laubish passing each other back and forth there in 5th and 6th. Zane Smith and Brown as well in 16th and 17th. Soto's up now into 14th. There is battles everywhere over here, Sam.
Oh, this is like a fizzy drink being shaken a lot right now, and eventually someone's going to open it, because this is Polisek sort of holding up a little bit Castro and Khan. Tokyo is holding up a bit Laubish, Toth, Pala, DePaula. And eventually someone's going to crack here, because how Toth hasn't got past Laubish. Like, Laubish is really getting stuck behind, and it's leaving him so vulnerable to Toth, but he can't attack Tokyo right now because he knows that Toth will pass him if he goes offline. So it's a really weird conundrum right now where I think the drivers at the head of each of these packs aren't necessarily that fast, but because everyone else behind them is fighting, no one's able to quite commit to a proper overtake. So this is really interesting. And well, here comes a move potentially from Toth, but you can see that'll be so late on the brakes. He saw that move coming and just absolutely sent it on the brakes to avoid that. And then because he sent it, he now drops off the back of Tokyo. So all this defending for Laubish is really compromising his attacks at Tokyo. And yeah, honestly, anyone from the top 8 here could win this race, I really think, because the top 3 might battle quite hard quite soon. As here comes Toth again. I'm sure he'll get alongside Laubish, but so far Laubish has repelled every single attack that the Hungarian has sent him.
Yeah, as much as Laubish is very aggressive, he also knows how to keep that McLaren in place when he needs to. And showing those defensive skills right now, just trying to creep up closer to Torchio and potentially get a little bit of slipstream and possibly dive up on the inside.
There's an absolutely insane battle going on for P17. I'm just seeing about 6 cars on top of one of them right now for P16. I don't know if something's going to happen. Oh, we got to it at the right time because 3 of them went off. And that, well, honestly, going into that corner, I think about 6 cars were separated by half a second. And that was always going to happen. Miles Brown, one of the losers out, but at least he's got all the parts of his car. That cannot be said for Tyler King, who's lost the rear of his car.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of a bumper rolling there in the sand, having a bit of a beach day. But come on, bumper, it's not a beach day time. It's time to get the McLaren back up and trying to get it running. But super unfortunate there. Great call from Sam on the battle there a little bit further down. And not the greatest of fights there, unfortunately. Or 3 cars off into the sand trap there. Thankfully, no wall-bound incidents over there. Nobody managing to hit the wall and cause further suspension damage. Just a little bit of damage there for Tyler Campbell, as we mentioned. And now Chris Brown, also massive fight for him. He's got Tyler Campbell and Chris Queen. Just not Chris Queen, sorry, Colin Queen a little bit further behind him from the Roasted Records team, and just trying to, find that slipstream. He's got a battle up in front. Let's watch a replay. Yes, Cuthbert jumping up on the inside of, I believe that's Lambert, and trying to find a way around. And no. There's the massive contact, huge contact on the back there of Cuthbert. And you can see that red McLaren losing the whole front end. Cuthbert
Jonathan
missing
Lawyers.
the complete rear. It's Lawyers. And Cuthbert now, the whole backside of that McLaren just off. And you can see massive suspension damage, just losing it out on the grass there.
Laura's also, who caused that collision, also has seemingly gone back to the pits. So, yeah, that was crazy that he missed his braking point so much, honestly, there. So yeah, pretty unfortunate there as we watch Tyler Campbell sandwich right now between Brown and Queen. Queen not close enough, but yeah, these guys only 7 seconds off the lead, and he's saying 12th place. Everyone's so congested still, and here comes a move, in fact, for Campbell on Brown. Brown is forced a little bit offline. They avoid making contact. Great racing between these two. And now Queen has got to find somewhere. There's got to be a gap, surely, but this is a narrow circuit, and there's just nowhere he can put his car.
Yeah, he's going to have to just sit in the slipstream for now. Oh, and like Chris is mentioning, the fighting is continuing. He's looking for the grass. He dives. Is it going to be enough, though? Coming into the braking zone, manages to get that McLaren rotated. What a move by Queen there. And Campbell loses out there, unfortunately, holding onto the outside line. But my goodness, I don't think anyone was expecting Queen to make that late dive. He was actually on the grass there a little bit, just trying to find the space on this narrow circuit. More jumping up and down, though, because Laubish has now been passed. Like you were talking about, Sammy was eventually going to crack, and there the fizzy drink is spewing all over the track. That's a hazard. And now Laubish has lost out to Pala, and Nick DePaula is up on the inside of Karen. Karen might potentially lose out on yet another position here going around the track. This is incredible fighting in the top 7 over here for this race here, race number 2 at Road America. And my goodness, there's cars going off on the grass. There's cars spilling fizzy drinks. It's not what you want to see over here, but it's happened, and now we're going to have to continue going here. 12 minutes in of racing. Still a couple of minutes to go. We're going to have to see how these drivers take it. 23 positions up for Hooverson, and on board now with Wedstead.
What a race. There is some awesome racing tonight.
Yeah, so aggressive from almost everyone out there, but yeah, 99% of the racing has been absolutely top quality. Great work from the Sazy Esports cars to get past Laubish. Laubish, of course, down to 7th place, like you were saying before. But yeah, those Sazy cars now free to attack Torquio. And this is big for Toth. If Toth can get past Torquio here, he could chase down the race leaders. We've still got 18 minutes to go. He can see the top 3 up the road, but he has to pass Torquio within a lap, really. Otherwise, he's just going to be too far back. And you can see that gap, 3.5 seconds it was before. Now it's up to 3.7 because Torquio is really backing up these guys. As Toth sits in the draft, Torquio will keep it all the way to the left, heading into T5. And maybe we'll see maybe a dummy attempt for Toth. We saw it didn't work for Nessov in the previous race. Actually, he's just going to go for the conventional outside line, or maybe the cutback. No, it's going to be the outside, but he gets forced out. Torquio wasn't going to let him pass there. And this gap now up to 3.8. Toth is losing any chance of winning this race by not being able to overtake the Italian right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost 4 seconds now to the top 3 because Torquio is just losing out from this battle now. And actually almost causing a bit of an incident there, pushing Toth a little bit wide. Not too sure who's at fault there, but it looked like Toth was holding on to the outside there, but Pala is a little bit further behind. So if they do want to switch teammates, possibly one's faster than the other, they've got that chance. But Laubish is also not just dropping off there at the back. You can see him there in the yellow and black McLaren, still holding on tightly, just in the top 7 over there. Karen has dropped off a little bit, and DePaula as well. And Colin Queen will eventually join this fight here for the battle for 5th. Battle for 4th, actually. But, I mean, I think talking about, like you mentioned, the whole fizzy can conundrum, it might happen with our 1st to 3rd over there, because it is so close, the battle for 1st right now. 2 to 3 10 splitting 1st to 3rd right now. And as you can see, Cameron Brown trying to find as much traction as he can in that blue and black McLaren, just trying to find a way around Tyler Campbell, who received a bit of damage in a previous fight. And, oh, Campbell taking a little bit of a wider line there, and not what you want to see here at this kind of track.
Lucas Souza just got past Tyron Roberts, by the way, and there's been a change for P4. Toth, can he get this one clear on Torquio? And here comes his teammates, trying to give him a helping hand. And Torquio defends nonetheless, and now the teammates are going to swap position, and I think Toth is going to lose out to Laubish again. So he worked so hard to get past Laubish, and now he's lost it again, and Torquio is going to be Sazy Esports' #1 enemy right now, because, well, he's doing a bit like what Castro did earlier on, just defend for his life in that position.
Yeah, I mean, he's holding off a massive train of cars here who are really hungry to try and potentially get some podium points on the board here. The reason that, I mean, like Chris said, the possible strategy of staying in the top 8 to get flipped around, and now it's being thrown in the dustbin because they can't get past. But now Pala is really starting to push. He's doing the opposite of what Toth did. He's not sitting in the slipstream here. He's putting his nose in, and he's trying to get past. But here comes Laubish, almost 3 wide there. And now Laubish fighting. Laubish has almost gained 2 positions here on both of the Hungarian drivers. Now climbing up onto the inside line. Does he have it to gain that position? Pala, no bumper to bumper there with his own teammate. And Karen has made up a potential move over here as well on the out top. There is loads of fighting up and down here. Pala holding off on the inside. And just on the outside there, Laubish just holding off as much as he can, getting pushed a little bit there. It's still clean, but guess what, Sam? Who's ran away here in front? Because Tokyo is disappearing.
Oh, he'll be so relieved after that. He's had to defend so hard, and now he's actually got a few laps where he won't have to. Laubish is going to lose out this position, however, again. But there he comes back. Well, he really needs to make sure he doesn't book a holiday to Hungary, because he is, making some enemies with Pala and Toth right now. And he is back fast. What a drive from Laubish. He's back up into P6. But yeah, this is absolutely incredible racing between these guys. They're losing probably about 2 seconds a lap with all this fighting. But it's very entertaining for us, and it does matter a lot for them when it comes to their track position. And let's see if Laubish can hold on again.
Yeah, I mean, further down though, Nesov also about to make the position on Soto, the driver who unironically took him out or had a little bit of contact with him in race 1, now potentially making that position change. But unfortunately, we can't really leave this fight right now because of how tight the battle is for 4th, because Tokyo is running away. He's now 1 second away from Pala, who's back ahead of Laubish, and now Toth is back on the rear of Laubish fighting, but Karen and DePaula are both behind, and they're both hungry. And Queen and Campbell have also joined this fight just 1 second in. You can see how close it is. David Toth has basically only got the rear side of McLaren in his view. He can't even see the next corner unless he pulls out to the right, which is what he does. And Whitney climbs up on the inside because Karen sees the position, and there's contact. And let's see if it gets a bit technical. Oh, and that's Karen with massive damage as he gets a little bit of pit maneuver there into the bridge wall. And that's possibly going to be suspension damage. Chris, what on earth did we just witness?
Yeah, it was hard to see from the view that we were looking at, the cockpit view, but there was a lot of zigging and zagging where there wasn't space to do it. So it'd be interesting to see this replay.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you can see all the drivers behind benefiting because Karen's off, and everybody making up a couple of positions. So here comes Karen. You can see it just coming down into the downhill left-hander. On the right-hand side, looking for the gap. There he comes up on the inside, pushes in front there by Toth, pushes Toth out a little bit, and there's the contact. He's not really giving Toth the space. Toth rebounds off the wall, clips him, and there we go. One by McLaren, eats a bit of wall for breakfast, and that bumper has sustained a bit of right-side damage. It doesn't look like it's going to be too bad, but he has lost out on that fight that we were witnessing there. A little bit further back, though, Khan is in front of Castro for second, and Polisek is in danger now because 8/10 back is Khan. We're going to have to witness this one as we got about 12 minutes left of racing. Sam, we have to catch our breaths here, dude. This is incredible racing up and down the pack.
Yeah, let's go replay of what happened. These two lost a lot of time, so I think Khan sent it from quite far back, and it's forced them both offline. So here he comes. I think that's a deliberate move, and then... Well, I mean, that's going to be a tricky one for the stewards, but I think Khan might get away from that. He stayed pretty tight. Castro trying to stay pretty tight himself and not give up that position. And there's a little bit of contact between the two of them. So I'm sure Castro will protest that one and argue that should be a penalty. But I think that will be a marginal one, whether that one is given. But it gives Khan now second place, and it gives him the opportunity to have a shot at Polisek. And he is closing that gap. It's down to half a second now.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like he's got any steering damage for now, which is great. Which means it's just going to be a little bit of bodywork scraping there for Castro. A little bit further, though, because Toth has also gotten back in front of DePaula as the fight continues for 7th. You can see there DePaula just a little bit further now from Toth. And Toth is going to once again climb on the backside of the yellow and black McLaren there of Laubish. Further back, though, Hooverson has made incredible headway. 25 positions up this field. Now on the backside of Ahmad in 14th position, and Hooverson is really going to want to try and find the positions. He did the same thing in Spa. He's repeating history here with the climbing up the ladder, and another position gets he gets onto the track there. 26 positions up for the Apex Racing Academy driver there in 14th. An incredible job there. He's going to be chasing down Soto now, just a little bit further in front, but my goodness, What a climb up this ladder has been for Hooverson, Sam.
So good from Hoverson. If only he did this in race 1. I think he got caught up in something in race 1, but obviously if he'd done that in race 1, then he would have been starting in 14th in race 2, and we could have seen him maybe fight, you know, with the Pala, Laubish, Toth battle. Unfortunately, that's not been the case, but he's still recovered really well. Back to these two, Brown and Roberts, I think have been battling all day long, and it's currently Brown with the upper hand in this race 2. Most of the battles further down the order have sorts of mellowed out. Apologies to maybe anyone watching back further down the order, maybe was wanting to have their battle shown, but of course the battling in the top 10 has been so close that we've barely been able to take our eyes away from it. But this one is still going, and there's also a bit of a battle behind as well with King holding off Souza. I swear these 4 drivers have been basically line astern from the get-go tonight.
Yeah, no, it's been constant action through the back of here, and it also just proves that they're still fighting no matter the position. Geez, like, look at the backside of that exposed McLaren. That's King with his entire rear bumper not showing. It's quite a view there. I was taken by shock, not expecting to see an exposed rear diffuser there. And change for 4th because Tokyo's off. He's falling off the ladder over there, and it looks like he's had a bit of contact, falling deep off, down to 15th almost already. We're going to have to get a replay of that. I think that might have potentially been contact or driver error over there. We'll have to see it shortly. On board, though, with Castro, you can see him still dropping off. Tokyo down to 16th position. He was fighting this for 4th. And now Pala, easy positions there for him, up into 4th. They can now try and rejuvenate that 4.8 second gap back up to Castro. He's got 8 minutes to do it. Not too sure if he can do it. I mean, Chris, what an absolute change of events there. King's got a black flag as well. We've got 8 minutes left. This is a constant shuffle for position.
Yeah, it's like Sam said, it's so hard. Like, you want to look all over the place, but every spot is having great battles, and this is going to be interesting. We're getting real close to the end here. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see. So Tokyo holding the inside line there. That's either Ballas or Toth. Let's see, a little bit of contact. Ooh, just a little bit. That could have even been netcode. And as you can see there, surrendered in the wall. Not too much he can do. And posted just actually almost completely horizontal there. Has to be careful with the rejoin as well, which is why it took him so much time to recover that McLaren. And down a couple of positions there, unfortunately, for Tokyo. Not what you want to see. But he's actually at the back there with another driver who is at the back there with him. That was possibly on the replay. Apologies there. But just coming out of it now. Incredible stuff there, because Ballas Pala has now got 4th. A little bit further behind, though, Laubish and Toth continue fighting for 5th.
Yeah, Pala was the one who made the contact there. So, yeah, that will probably be investigated by the stewards as well. As we see, of course, pretty tight for the lead, but then also tight for this one. Toth trying to get past Laubish. This is episode 98 between these two. They've been so often alongside one another. And Laubish still has the upper hand. This would be such a good 5th place if Laubish could hold on to it. He started in 5th place, but it feels like he's really had to work to stay where he started. And he's still doing that right now, because you can see King there with that black flag. Watch out for that to the end of the race. So if they get a black flag, that means that they've gone over the iRacing instant limit, which is 20, and that means that they'll have to serve a slowdown, a drive-through, which on this circuit is really bad. It loses you about 25 seconds, I think. If they pick it up on the last lap, though, you can't serve it on the last lap. You can't do a Schumacher 98. You have to, you just get a 40-second post-race. So if anyone gets it at the end of the race, then that'll be 40 seconds. But King's got it early enough. He will have to just go through the pit lane, which isn't quite so bad. As Tokyo gets past Smith, he's up into 15th again.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, actually, I would hate to be a steward. I mean, that job is not something I would want. Maybe there's a witness protection program for them, too, after all these decisions happen. They can go into hiding.
Yeah, and I guess a little bit tight in the steward's box over there. Some of the fights can get a little bit nasty, and sometimes they really don't know who to award penalties to, because sometimes both drivers could even be at fault. But you award a racing incident, and then drivers come back fighting because they just want revenge. And sometimes it happens like that in motorsport. But a little bit further up, though, Laubish is seeing Toth just pressing on. And I mean, like you said, Sam, it would be great to see Laubish, especially after last week's conundrum. He fell all the way to the back of the grid last week, just coming towards the final stages of the race. That would be good justice for him to finish off strong here in 5th. But Toth is not going to make it an easy one for him. Holding off in 6th over here. for the Hungarian driver, just trying to find it around the sides here of the German driver. And as you can see, bumper to bumper over here. Further up in front, though, is Pala, his teammate. But Pala's really not going to want to forfeit any form of time yet to help Toth behind, because he's got to fight. And there we go. A change for the lead has happened there on the leaderboard. Polasek is up into first, but Khan is fighting because he's caught up. Castro's gotten a yellow flag as well, and he's 2 seconds behind. So he's lost a lot of pace there. And now this is the battle we're currently presenting for P1.
So what is a yellow flag? We know what a black flag is, but what's a yellow flag?
I'm not sure what a yellow flag is. I've never seen this before. One of them may go. No, Hoverson's still there. I'm not quite sure what the yellow means, honestly. Hoverson's got one as well.
Could potentially be a warning.
Sure. Could be. Oh no, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Oh, maybe it was a slowdown. Yeah, maybe a slowdown. So that's when a driver cuts the circuit. And that means that they have to slow down a little bit, maybe by a second or so. So that's the reason for that. But yeah, I was very confused there. So it's not as bad as a black flag, at least. But yeah, Khan came very close. I think he sent it into T5, went it a little bit too deep, and Polasek was able to get back underneath. So that'll give Polasek a little bit of information where the move is most likely to come. Probably T5 as the biggest braking zone on the circuit. But catching up to these guys, well, catching up to these guys a little bit, I guess, on this lap, 2.2 seconds now. Castro, they can't afford to battle too hard, otherwise this will turn into a through-car battle. Yeah, this is going to be the send from Khan. Just too far back, he couldn't get it stopped, and Polasek was able to get back underneath.
Yeah, no, a little bit of a switchback there, unfortunately. Just too much of a slingshot there from Khan. Really could have been cool if he managed to get the McLaren stopped on the apex there. He would have been ahead like the Max Verstappen rule. As long as you're ahead on the apex, you can do whatever you want, it seems. But thankfully, not too much contact over there back behind the likes of Polasek. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, it gets a little bit confusing, actually, with the flags, especially most people, the common motorsports that we see in real life, obviously Formula 1 being one of the biggest on the stage, you know, the standardization for flags, yellow flags is usually a warning or some form of penalty, and a black flag actually means disqualification. Oh, lots of bumping here from Soto. But yeah, like I was saying, black flag usually actually means disqualification, but in iRacing, it's not like that. Khan and Polasek, once again, back and forth. These guys, Sam, I mean, I don't even think we need to mention it for the time being, because they keep on just fighting. Khan keeps on diving, and Polasek keeps on doing the switchback.
Yeah, that was another send from Khan. Even not watching it live, we know that, yeah, he's definitely sent it at T5, and it didn't make it stick. Meanwhile, Brown staying ahead there in P12. That was a poor lap last time for Brown. He lost over a second to Sotso, so that's why he's under quite so much pressure. Laubish still keeping behind Toth. These guys are now 2.6 seconds behind Palace, so they're not slow, is Laubish. You can see the pack behind them isn't too congested, so it's not so they're having to drive offline every single corner, but it is certainly compromising Laubish a little bit as Toth runs wide, and that will be some good relief now for the German driver. They won't be under pressure into Canada, and actually Toth might be under pressure from DePaula, because the Brazilian has an awesome run here, and Toth will now have to go defensive. I don't think there's going to be any way around there, and DePaula very smartly just backs out of that one. No point in going alongside, he wasn't going to make the move, and yeah, it means that they can keep tabs with Laubish ahead.
Yeah, and this is going to be like basically the fight going on for the final 2 minutes of here, because this is the fight now. As we patrol on track now for the battle for 5th, because Pala has pulled quite far ahead now, 2.7 seconds from Laubish, and a little bit further up is still Castro trying to fight on, but Toth, DePaula, and Queen, and Campbell all in a train together. It's now final lap, the white flag has been waved, and everybody, this is now the time to shine. The stage has been set for these drivers. It's the last time for Khan to make a dive. We could potentially see the timing screen swap out again, because turn 5 is coming up, and it could potentially be another dive here for Khan. I think he might be able to do it again. Will he be able to keep it stuck, though? That is the important question, Sam.
Yeah, he's not gaining much on the straights. Everyone's got the same setup. Remember, it's not so you can run less drag, and this isn't going to happen for him, so he's going to have to look for somewhere else. But Chris, I'm not sure where else he could overtake. Maybe Canada corner, but the opportunities are running out for Khan.
Yeah, he's definitely running out of space, time, and opportunity. We'll see what happens. It's about halfway through this lap.
Still further down, though, Toth is now climbing up on the inside once again of Laubish. You can see the two continuously fighting. DePaula is still in the back, as the fight is not over yet, but Laubish is defending this like an absolute brute over here, holding off that position for 5th. He's really just trying to make it stick. And we'll have to see how this is going to work out for them, because the Paula is in this fight indeed. And same with Colin Queen. Tyler Campbell a little bit further behind. He might be able to get a position here if something goes wrong a little bit further up ahead, because Toth is really pushing onto the back of Laubish. We're hoping for no contact here, but this is final lap. Final lap fights can make drivers do things that they don't usually do. The dives can be seen, and the potential risk for reward is definitely on the line here.
So here he goes. This is going to be the last opportunity. There's passing further back as well. But so he's doing enough at the moment is Laubish. Queen trying to hold off Campbell, but Queen's gone wide, and Campbell does get past. Out in the lead. This is pretty close, but Polasek is going to take this race win. It might also be the championship lead as well. A masterful performance. He holds off Khan. There's an incident for Toth, who leaked so many places on the run to the line. It was such an epic battle between him and Laubish, and through all of that, Tyler Campbell up into 6th place, and Nesov recovering 19 places to 9th place.
What an incredible drive there. Oh, a little bit of contact there on the final stint. I just saw the pink, white, and blue car, and I know only one driver drives that, and that is indeed Nesov. And he manages to just sneak up on the inside of Toth. Imagine fighting the whole race and then getting taken like that by Nesov all the way from the back. So let's see what happened here again. You can see Toth going wide. DePaula sticks his nose in. A little bit of grip loss there for Toth. Manages to recover the car. A little bit of zigzagging, but he loses all of his straight line speed. And there you can see Nesov just getting past him. Loses out just into the top 10. Gregory Hooverson up 29 positions. Will finish 11th as well. But what an incredible race this has been, Chris. I mean, opinions of this. This has been even better than the race one.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think you could ask for more clean racing action. Like, this was an amazing race, and the back and forth in all positions on this grid, it's been awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that looked like we had a driver trying to escape the track over there. We just saw it on camera. That was quite a funny thing over there, just managing to squeal the McLaren through a little gap there on track. But I mean, Sam, thoughts on that race? That was absolutely incredible.
Well, yeah, just a word as well on David Toth. Really bad news for him. Of course, you can see the black flag next to his name, and seeing that's the last lap, he'll get a 40-second penalty for that, which is a big shame for Toth. So, of course, that wasn't really his fault either, the contact, but that's sort of how it is. You get to close to 20. Once you get to 16 incidents, then you are at risk that if someone makes contact with you, then you will go over that incident limit. And that's what happened to Toth. So that's a lot of points lost for him. And, well, of course, the first 2 races of the season, of course, Nesov was just so dominant, losing barely any points. This race has really mixed up the championship order, and so it looks really entertaining as we go into the rest of the season. But we'll show you the results now, and it was Michael Polasek, if we go a few positions up, who managed to take the race to victory ahead of Zain Khan, Andre Castro, Balas Pala, and Nicholas Laubish. And I'll let you go through the rest of them, Tristan, because I think my voice is giving up, so I'll let you go through the rest.
No stress. It has been it's been a round of events here tonight. Nicholas Laubish in 5th, with Tyler Campbell finish off in 6th. He really benefited from that final incident there. Nick DePaula in 7th, with Colin Queen also benefiting in 8th. Alexei Nesov up a massive amount of positions there in 9th, with Gregory Hooverson 29 positions up, will get 10th after Toth got that penalty. Russell Soto in 11th, with Cameron Brown and Zohair Ahmad in 12th and 13th. Zane Smith in 14th. Alessandro Torchio in 15th, with Chris Wetz in 16th. Richard Wedstead in 17th, and Kyle Robertson wraps up the top 18. We'll see the rest now. We didn't see 19th there and 20th, but it's fine. Laverin in 21st, with Justin Bissett in 22nd. Ismail Arafag in 23rd. And there's David Toth after that massive 40-second penalty, down in 24th position. Just in front of Rain Woodside in 25th, Lance Fenderson in 26th. Mike Mann will finish in 27th, with Kingston Mullings in 28th. Jacqueline 29th. Miles Brown in 30th, with Tyler King in 31st. Lewis Garland the 4th in 32nd, with Andrew Yun in 33rd. And Alan Ware 34th. Anthony Cuthbert 35th. Jonathan Laura's in 36th, followed by Andrew Carron after that a little bit of incidents he had, down in 37th. Thomas Critchell in 38th, and then just a few to finish off. Xavier Bulliner, who we saw receive the T-bone, down in 39th. And Lewis Holloway off to the baseball in 40th, not able to start the race. But my goodness, what an incredible race this has been. I believe we might have some post-race commentating. Interviewing. We'll just wait for some of the drivers to come and join the waiting area. But I mean, Chris, final thoughts after that race? I know we spoke about it just now, but after seeing a couple of those final penalties, this has been, I think, I don't know if this top Sebring. I mean, does this top Sebring for you?
I mean, it does. Cleaner race. You got to see more guys out there on the grid, so on the track running around, and you really got to see drivers and their patience, right? When to choose to be aggressive and when they were holding back, and so it's been an amazing race, and it's my favorite race of the year so far.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really been an incredible one, and I think, like you mentioned, there was a lot less contact that we saw. Obviously, contact will happen in a race like this with so many cars in such a narrow track, but thankfully, drivers really managed to avoid most of it. But I think we'll start off with a couple of interviews. Currently, we only have one driver waiting for us. I believe it's Mr. Cameron Brown, who's had a bit of an eventful race this time around. We'll bring him in to speak a little bit with him. Welcome to the commentary box, Mr. Cameron Brown. How are you doing after that extremely eventful race?
Doing well. Heart rate's through the roof right now. Still coming down from that. That was an intense one for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just talk us through a couple of those turn one extravaganzas over there. Obviously, there was loads of incidents up and down, but I mean, now finishing off second race here in 13th, first race, also doing an incredible job. How was the management there of the traffic and stuff in turn one of both races?
Yeah, it was good. I tried to take a different kind of philosophy this time around, especially to race one, because it sets the grid for race two. And my goal was to just not bin it in the first lap, which we accomplished and gained quite a few places from that, which worked out pretty well. From there, just Alexi came through a couple times. I don't know what happened to him up front, but he clearly had the pace, so he was going to take the position from me no matter what. So I just tried to let him through every time and follow him and let him catch me back up to the pack. The end of race one was interesting because I had watched him fight, I think it was Russell, in front of me already once and punted him off. So once he caught back up, I knew there was going to be some type of contact and that he had to be somewhat close to a penalty, to a black flag.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think we spoke to you last week as well, just after Sebring. I mean, I think in personal opinion, it was a better race, but was this definitely a better race for you after Sebring?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't have as much pace here, unfortunately, but the racecraft, I think, proved pretty well. And yeah, everything was a lot cleaner. There were still quite a few incidents, I'm sure, but no pileups before turn one, which is a win, I think.
Yeah, that's absolutely great. And I mean, how overall did the McLaren feel after both the race stints?
It felt good. I didn't expect the track temp to drop so much. We started at 42 in practice, and then it was down to, I know the start of race 2 was at 34. So that changed things quite a bit. When it was about 42, 41 degrees, the front lefts really heat up, especially after the long carousel. They get up to like 102, so you had to, in practice, I had to manage that, but track temps came down, so it felt quite good, actually.
Well, that's great to hear. It's always good to hear that the car was manageable. Obviously, a lot more manageable compared to the Sebring comments that we heard. But next week for round 4 of the League by Foxxtecca, we head to Monza, the Temple of Speed. How are you feeling in this current configuration, the same setup, the same car? Obviously, a little bit of a different type of track, a little bit wider as well. Yeah, how are we feeling for Monza?
Yeah, feeling good. Monza, turn one Monza. That'll be interesting for sure. I love the McLaren around Monza. Even the fixed setup, I think, feels really good around Monza. So I think it's going to be a lot of the same that we saw kind of at Spa and at Road America, where if you can keep the toe from the car in front, then you're in pretty good shape. But if you lose that, then you're kind of cooked from behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, thank you so much for joining us in the interview booth. It's been a phenomenal race and watching you fight up and down the grid. Just before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank or anybody you'd like to shout out just before you head off?
Yeah, effectsimulations.uk. You can get some turnkey rigs and simulations, as well as some PCs. Thank you guys very much.
Absolutely incredible. Have a fantastic night, and we'll see you next week in Monza. All right, it's between Chris and Sam. Who wants to take the next interview?
I might be quite selfish here and take Michael Polasek, who joins us now, who managed to, of course, take that fantastic race 2 win. But Michael, a lot of it came from race 1 in reality. Of course, he managed to get reverse grid pole. Talk about the mindset in that race 1. I mean, was there a little bit of hanging back for 8th position? What was your thinking during that race when it came to the reverse grid?
With race 1, I was trying to hopefully get maybe 1 or 2 places, but unfortunately my tires were just done from all the sliding and all the instants that happened over the race. So eventually I've just realized it was just safer for me to just hang back, not risk anything, and go into race 2 on pole. And fortunately everything worked itself out in race 2, and I was able to get a gap over the rest of the field and was able to play defense for the whole 30 minutes.
Yeah, what was it like with Zane in those final few laps? Because he was sending it from quite far back. You never seemed to, as far as we saw, really defend from it. You were quite comfortable sort of just getting the cutback each time. What was it like in those final few laps having to defend like that?
When people are sending it from that far back, those are just 0% chance moves, and they're never going to get the car stopped before the corner. So you pretty much just brake early, let them go, and as they're trying to panic stop into the corner, they can't turn, and you just can easily retake the position back. And from all those moves, I was able to get a decent tire advantage and was just able to use that to pull out enough of a gap on the final lap to be able to take home the win.
I'm going to let you guess here. There's no bonus points for this, but where do you think you are in the championship after that?
I don't know if I'm the points. Am I the points leader now? I don't know.
You are now second, which is actually where you were before, but you've
closer,
overtaken
creeping.
Alexi, but you're behind Balash Palace still, but only by 4 points. So you've cut the championship deficit a lot. How do you feel about your championship chances? I mean, we're 3 rounds into the championship. We've got 5 to go. How confident are you feeling about that?
To be honest, with how chaotic the racing has been, how unpredictable everything's been, who knows? It's just a matter of showing up, doing the best you can do, and if things go our way, great. If not, it's whatever. We'll try again next round.
Well, we wish you the best of luck for the next round. Michael, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Definitely. Thank you to everybody at WSR Esports for their support, and thank you to our partners, Brutzy, Race Gear, Next Level Racing, and Attitus Racing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Michael, and best of luck for round 4.
Thank you very much.
Michael Polasek, there, your race 2 winner tonight, but also got P8 in race 1, and yeah, up to 2nd place in the championship now. So really, with a great chance at taking the title. Chris, I think we've got an opportunity to have a chat with Tyrone Roberts.
Time to call Tyrone. Tyrone, what up, man? Oh, he's on
Tyrone,
mute.
you are
See.
muted, by the way.
Not sure if there he is.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
What up, man? Welcome to the post race party. Talk to us about your thoughts on race 3, Road America.
Oh man, I thought I did enough practice, but apparently not. But I mean, I guess my pace was there, but this was an off track crazy 2 races for me tonight. I don't know what was going on, but I got knocked off the track probably 3-4 times, and both of them put me all the way in the back of the pack. So unfortunate. I knew race 2 I was gonna have to catch up a lot. Was able to gain a lot of positions, but I don't think it was enough to get enough points that I would like to get. But Gregory, I was trying to keep up with Gregory from all the way in the back, but he left me after a couple of corners.
It's a long season, though. You have plenty of time. There's still 5 more races, and so it's the good thing also is you get to take one of these races off of your list. So if this is the one, let it be that, right?
Yeah, this might be the one I'll use my mulligan on, because this one was pretty bad. So.
And well, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Of course, you guys for putting this all together and giving us a platform to be able to get everybody together that's like-minded and get us all in the same lobby and get us racing. This has been great so far. I've been having a good time. Let's keep on going.
Guys, any questions?
Not for me. But yeah, thanks, Tyrone, for taking part. And well, a quick word on Monza next time out. I mean, are you looking forward to that?
Monza is a fun track. I'm looking forward to, again, based on how the league has been going so far, I'm looking forward to the Turn 1 madness, but should be fun. I don't think I've ever driven that track with this car. It's a familiar track, but like I said, I don't think I've ever driven it on this in the McLaren, so we'll have to do some testing this week to see how we do.
How do you feel about the McLaren? I know it's a new car for a lot of people. How do you feel that you've been has the McLaren been working for you this season? You like it, you love it, you hate it?
I don't hate it. I don't love it. I will be honest. I definitely don't love it. It's definitely not my go-to car. But it is a fun car to drive, and it's fun getting used to how it operates, especially on these hot tracks. During the hot track temps, I mean, during practice, I was setting pretty decent lap times, and then once the race actually started for race 1, it was I think the temperatures were like probably 9 degrees higher, maybe 10, 12, and you're almost a full second off with this car. So it's a big difference with track temperatures. This car is extremely sensitive. So it's been a fun time learning it for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Tyrone, thank you once again for participating in the league, and we'll see you at Monza next week.
Yes, sir. Thanks, y'all. I'll see you next week.
Incredible stuff. So that was Tyrone Roberts just finishing off in a great place, 16 positions up in race 2. So incredible stuff there from him. But I mean, that is it for tonight for round 3. I mean, guys, final thoughts, Sam and Chris, from tonight's race. How are we feeling after that one?
Just, I mean, it's what, like 3 in the morning here, but I'm so awake right now because that was so entertaining. Such close racing. They really, yeah, so many drivers really pushing the limits there. But yeah, the action was so intense, and obviously the field is so competitive in this championship. That's pretty much as entertaining racecraft as you'll see in all of sim racing tonight. So it was absolutely awesome stuff. Looking forward to Monza. What did you think, Chris?
It was awesome. A big shout out to everybody who was watching online. We had probably like I think at our peak, probably like 56 people, which gets me excited, and the chat is active. So big shout out to everybody who's been watching. We've been getting a lot of people watching the replays, and it's because the action is becoming more and more exciting every week, and people are tuning in to see what these guys got. And I'm really, really impressed with how talented our field is from top to bottom. So the interesting thing is every driver has their personality, the car has its own personality, and every track has its own personality. So on to Monza.
Absolutely, on to Monza for round 4 of the league by Foxxtecca. Once again, it will be a doubleheader, 2 races with the second race reversed. Once again, massive thank you to the sponsors of the league, the Roasted Record team from fueling all the drivers up and down for race 1 and race 2, as well as the African American Automotive Association. It's been an absolutely incredible one. It's been a pleasure commentating this. My name is Tristan Herbst, once again joined by Sam Fitzpatrick as well as Chris Harris in the commentary booth, and our production team in the background, Jim Cunningham on the cameras, and just providing the broadcast overall. Once again, massive thank you to everybody for watching. We'll see you next week for round 4 at Monza. Have a great night, have a great afternoon, or have a great morning. Cheers.